Before we begin, we need your help. The search for Summer Wells depends on public awareness. If you want to stay updated on all developments in this critical case, please support this channel. Hit the like button, share this video with everyone you know, and subscribe with the notification bell turned on. Your engagement helps keep Summer's story alive and could ultimately help bring her home. Now let's begin. The story of a missing child is every family's worst nightmare. For nearly 4 years, the family of Summer Wells has been living this nightmare. The little girl with bright eyes and a sunny smile vanished from her home in Tennessee one evening in June 2021, and despite extensive searches and investigations, no definitive answers emerged. The case grew cold, and while her family and a dedicated group of supporters never gave up hope, the public's attention slowly drifted away. The mystery of what happened to 5-year-old Summer seemed destined to remain unsolved. Then, without warning, everything changed. In a sudden and dramatic move that shocked the quiet community, a small army of law enforcement officials descended upon a property located 9 miles from Summer's home. This was not just a few police cars, this was a major operation involving state police, local sheriff's deputies, and most significantly, agents from the FBI. The property, a sprawling 27-acre piece of land, belonged to an elderly man named Paul Hill. The scale and seriousness of this raid sent one clear message: the investigation into Summer's disappearance was not only active but boiling hot. The authorities were acting on what insiders called very credible information. After years of silence, they believed they might finally find a critical clue on this particular piece of land. This raid ignited a firestorm of public interest and speculation. As we continue to unravel this complex story, we want to remind you how crucial your support is to keeping Summer's case in the public eye. If you're finding this information important, please take a moment to like this video and share it on your social media platforms. Every share reaches new eyes and could potentially reach someone who holds a key piece of information. Don't forget to subscribe for continuing coverage of this developing story. At the center of this renewed storm was a man named Fred Hill. For those who had followed the case from the beginning, Fred was a familiar and controversial figure. He is a relative of Paul Hill and lived near the Wells family when Summer disappeared. Over the years, he had inserted himself into the narrative, giving interviews and making startling claims about what might have happened. Some of his statements seemed far-fetched, making him a figure of intense speculation and doubt for many. Just as the raid on his uncle's property was making news, a new piece of information surfaced online. It was an email, leaked to the public, that claimed to be from the lead detective on the case. The email stated something astounding: Fred Hill was no longer considered a person of interest. He had been officially ruled out. This email created an immediate and deep division among people following the case. On one side, there was a sense of victory for those who believed Fred was innocent. Their comments poured in. "I always knew he wasn't involved. They've finally cleared his name." However, a loud chorus of skepticism rose just as quickly. The timing felt suspicious to many. Why would this information come out right as police were searching his uncle's land? The method also seemed strange. "Since when does a detective send an email for something this important?" one comment read. "Why isn't there an official police statement? This feels like a trick." The situation became even more confusing when a concerned citizen decided to cut through the online noise and go straight to the source. She called the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office and asked about the email. The response from the woman who answered the phone was blunt and immediate. She said she had heard nothing about it and called the email fake news. This should have settled the matter, but it didn't. It only created more questions. Was the person answering the phone privy to all the details of an active investigation? Was this the official position of the entire department, or was it just a standard response from someone tired of media calls? Then, another online personality added a new layer of complexity. He claimed the email was, in fact, genuine, but everyone was misunderstanding it. He said it wasn't about Summer Wells at all. Instead, it was related to a different, older investigation involving a man named Cotton Simpson. According to this news story, the email had been taken out of context. So, the public was left with a mess. Was Fred Hill cleared? Was the email a forgery? Or was it real but about something else entirely? The police offered no official statement, leaving a vacuum of truth that was quickly filled with noise and speculation. As we work to sort fact from fiction in this complicated case, we want to pause and remind you how important your participation is. If you're watching this right now, please help us spread the word about Summer's case. Hit that like button if you want to see justice for Summer, share this video with your friends and family, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any updates. The more people who see this information, the better the chance that someone with crucial information will come forward. Into this noisy vacuum stepped another character, a man named Ernest Schell. He began appearing in online videos, presenting himself as an insider with special access. He claimed he was working directly with the police agencies on the case. He said they were sending him confidential updates and even official documents, like reports from the search dogs. He presented images and details that made him seem like a credible source. Driven by a desire for answers, another phone call was made, this time to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. The question was simple: was Ernest Schell working with them? The answer from the TBI was swift and left no room for doubt. "That's not accurate," they said. A follow-up call to the sheriff's office got an even blunter response. They called his claims a scam. To prove the deception, internet investigators did a simple reverse image search on a photo of a police dog that Ernest had used as proof. They discovered the dog was named Goose, and he worked for a sheriff's office in a completely different state, hundreds of miles away from Tennessee. The man was a fraud. The lesson was clear: the real investigation was being conducted by professionals behind the scenes, not by self-proclaimed insiders on the internet. The police were not leaking information. Every claim had to be checked, and every source verified, because the path to the truth was littered with false leads and people seeking attention. Amid all this chaos and distraction, the core question remained: what actually happened to Summer Wells on that June day? The official theory, the one that seems simplest, is that a 5-year-old child simply wandered off. The Wells family lived in a rural, wooded area. It is easy to imagine a curious little girl following a butterfly or a family pet into the dense trees and quickly becoming disoriented and lost. The terrain is rugged, with steep hills and thick underbrush. It is a place where it would be tragically easy to disappear. But this theory is plagued by a troubling detail. According to reports from the initial search, trained tracking dogs were brought to the scene. These dogs are famous for their ability to follow a human's scent for miles. Yet, in Summer's case, it is reported that the dogs tracked her scent from her home down to a road, and then the scent simply stopped. It vanished. This single detail fuels a darker, more frightening possibility. It is often called the wander-off abduction theory. This suggests that Summer may have indeed wandered down to the road near her house. But there, instead of being found by a rescuer, she was met by someone in a vehicle. This person could have offered help or simply taken her, driving away with her and leaving no scent trail for the dogs to follow. This is why one specific clue remains so important. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation has officially asked for the public's help in finding a specific vehicle, a maroon or red Toyota Tacoma pickup truck, from the 1998 to 2000 model years. This truck was seen in the area around the time Summer vanished. To this day, finding that truck and identifying its driver is one of the most promising leads in the case. Who was driving it? What did they see? Do they hold the key to this entire tragedy? The recent raid on Paul Hill's property does not automatically mean he is suspected of a crime. Neighbors and locals describe him as a salt of the earth kind of man, a good person. The police interest might not be in Paul Hill himself, but in his land. 27 acres is a vast space, full of places where something, or someone, could be hidden. The police may believe that another person used this large, remote property to conceal evidence related to Summer's disappearance. And what of the other people connected to this web? Another relative, Andy Bernard, who also lived close to the Wells family at the time, has been mentioned in connection to the case. Some recall an old, unverified report that he was also cleared by police. But with the current search focused on his great-uncle's land, every connection is being re-examined under this new, harsh light. Through all of this, the Wells family has remained notably quiet. In the wake of this massive new search happening just miles away, they have not made public statements or given interviews. Their silence is their right, and it is impossible to know the private grief and stress they are enduring. Yet, in the court of public opinion, their silence is another mystery, another unanswered question in a case defined by them. Every new development, the shocking raid, the confusing email, the exposed fraud, does not provide clarity. Instead, each one adds another branch to a tangled maze. The investigation is clearly moving, but its direction is a secret held tightly by the detectives and agents working the case. We are left waiting, hoping that this new activity will lead to the one thing that has been missing for nearly 4 years, a definitive answer. The search for Summer Wells is no longer a cold case file. It is a live, active, and urgent investigation. The little girl's photograph is back on our screens, her story back in our hearts. This is where we need your help. This is not just a story from the past. This is a present-day mystery that needs to be solved. If you live in Tennessee or anywhere in the region, think back. If you have any information about that red Toyota Tacoma, or if you heard something all those years ago that didn't seem important then, it might be critical now. You are urged to contact the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. No piece of information is too small. For everyone watching this story unfold, your attention matters. Your engagement makes a difference. Please help us keep the spotlight on Summer's case. Like this video to show your support, share it across all your social media platforms to spread awareness, and subscribe to stay informed as this story continues to develop. Together, we can ensure that Summer is not forgotten and that the search for answers continues. We want to hear from you too. What are your thoughts on this case? What theory makes the most sense to you? Please share your respectful opinions and ideas in the comment section below. Let's keep the conversation going, and let's keep the focus on finding Summer. The massive police action on Van Hill Road was not an ending. It was a powerful new beginning, a sign that the search for truth is more intense than ever. But it is a beginning that has, so far, brought more questions than answers. What is the real story behind that property? What crucial clue did the police believe was hidden there? What will the next revelation be, and when will it come? Stay with us. This story is far from over.